In this part, we're going to add shape keys to the jacket so that we can have more control over the hood, the collar, and these bottom jacket flaps here. So, a shape key is basically, this is the base of the jacket, but we can add another modified version of this with the same amount of vertices, except having the jacket be in a different position. So I'll show you how shape keys work. So, over in our vertex groups tab here, we're going to go to where it says shape keys, and we're going to click plus, and this is the basis. Basically, this keeps the way the object looks right now the exact same. When we click plus again, though, that's the actual the shape key. So what we need to do is we're going to double click on this key, and we're going to type collar wind blow left. And so now if I tab into edit mode with this shape key selected and I edit something, so let's just move this vertex over here. Oh, remember to go to options down here, turn off x-axis mirror so that we can edit it asymmetrically. So go hit G. I'm just showing you an example of how it works. So if I hit G over here, tab back into object mode, you see it keeps the basis, but if I turn the value up to 1, you'll see that now that vertex moved over. So now I just want to Control Z that. Now I just want to do that for this entire collar. So select this entire upper part of the collar here. Make sure proportional editing connected is turned on. You can click down here and click it, or you can just hit Alt O. Hit G to grab, turn your area of influence up. We're going to move this over like so. Then we're going to select the singular vertex and we're going to continue to move that over. So now when I turn the value up, it looks like the wind is blowing this way. Now I may want to move this back over just a tiny bit so that it doesn't look like it's intersecting with the hood. And there we go. So now it would be a hassle to continue to do that for both sides of the jacket so that we can get the double shape keys. So Blender includes an easy way to mirror your shape keys. But your topology has to be the exact same on both sides. It won't work if something is asymmetrical. So what we can do is we can go click the plus button and it'll add a new shape key. So we're going to select this shape key here, and with our mouse hovered over it, we can hit Control C. I'll basically copy the name and click this one, and I'll hover our mouse over it and hit Control V, and that'll paste the name. So what we want to do is double click on this, and we want to change that from left to right. Now, but we still haven't mirrored it though. So okay. To mirror this shape key, what we need to do is turn the value of this all the way up to 1. Next, what we need to do is click the black arrow and choose New Shape from Mix, which basically means if you have a shape key effective all the way up to 1, or any value really, it'll take that shape key and duplicate it. It won't duplicate the name though. And we can add a name by hovering our mouse over this name here, hit Control C, and that'll copy it, and then hover our mouse over this name here, hit Control V, and that'll paste it. So now we can edit this, have it be right, because this is going to be the one that's mirrored. Now what we do is we click the downward arrow and we click Mirror Shape Key. You'll see it says all the vertices were mirrored, which is good. If you ever see a warning, that means all the vertices weren't mirrored and your mesh probably has some issues in it, and when you need to reapply the mirror modifier to it. Now, so if I turn the value of this down and I turn the value of our new shape key up, you'll see that we have the exact same shape key mirrored to the right. So that's not enough shape keys for the collar though. We want to have a shape key where the collar, like, so let's say the wind's blowing backward. We want to have the shape key where the wind's blowing back. So we can do that really easy. Just click plus, and we'll type the name collar wind blow back, and tab into edit mode here, hit 3, and then we can just use this black back arrow here and move it back. So now you see that when we turn the volume up on our shape key, it moves back. And so next thing we need to do is, now we're going to make a shape key for the hood. We're going to make a few shape keys for the hood actually. So we need the shape key to when we want to take the hood off. What we need to do is click the plus button, add a new shape key. We're going to double click this. We're going to call this hood up. And I'll show you why we're doing that in the next tutorial, but just make this shape key right now. Tab into edit mode, select these 3 vertices, hit G to grab. We'll move this part of the hood up. Actually rotate it a little bit too. Then move these parts back. Okay. So that's hood up. So we turn the volume up, you see we have the hood up. Now we want to make a hood down. So just click the plus button, double click the name. Let's turn this to hood down. Now the first thing we're going to do with our hood down, when the hood's down, we want the collar to also be down. So we can select this part of the collar here, and we can just hit G to grab and move the collar down like so. Make sure to move it on the Z axis, and we're gonna have to change it a little bit on the Y, but that's okay. I continue to move it down on the Z axis like so. So there we go. So now the collar's flipped down. So if you see, I see the collar being flipped down. Okay, so now we need to actually put the hood itself down. So let's do that. So that's why we added all these edge loops in the hood, so that we can make this function easier for ourselves. Select all the vertices up here. All of these. And that one right there, and we're going to hit R for rotate, turn proportional editing down a little bit. I'm going to rotate that till we get something like this, and we're just going to, we left out a vertice for the hood. It's okay to select that one. Again, hit R to rotate. It's going to rotate that down. Deselect this one. We'll actually keep selecting. We're going to bring it back. Deselect it. We're going to hit R to rotate again. I'm going to G to grab it. R to rotate. G to grab. Let's move that down. Deselect that one. Let's R to rotate again. G to grab. R to rotate. G to grab. Oops. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to deselect all of these except for, remember to deselect, just hit B for box select and middle mouse button, click and drag. What we want to do is we're going to move these up so it's like it makes a crease. Do the same thing for these. Select all of those, make a crease, and then continue our mission to descent. So you see we have a problem there. Just Control Z until we get to the root of that problem. Okay, so we forgot to select this whole side. So that's okay. We can just do it again. rotate it, G to grab, rotate it, G to grab. Deselect this one, rotate it, G to grab, bring it down, deselect, but no, keep that one selected, deselect all of these. These two, we're going to move those in, make that a wrinkle. Going to select these as well, make that a wrinkle, select all of these. Hit C for paint select. I'm just going to go up here, select all these vertices manually so that we are sure to get all of them. Okay, R to rotate, G to grab. Let's move these down. Now let's move this. Let's move this in. B to box select these here, except for this one, deselect that one. I want to move that down also. I want to select these here, move these down with them. R to rotate. Now let's move these in. Oops, we accidentally selected a piece of the collar. Move these in, move this down, and there we go. So that's the hood down. Move our value up. You can see that now we have the hood down. All right. Now, so let's move that back up. And you see we added hood up. So if we do hood up first, and then we do hood down, it still peeks through a little bit, but you see the hood basically goes down without peeking through the body that much. And we can adjust hood up a little bit so that we can reduce that peek through effect. So just go to hood up, hit tab in the edit mode, and we're just going to G to grab, just move this hood up a little bit more. So now you see hood up, and then you do hood down. You see that it doesn't peek through, and you turn that down, and you see we have hood down. So we can animate that with drivers, but we're going to do that in the next tutorial. So that's hood down. Alright, so we are almost done with shape keys. We have to add a few more to this bottom part here. So we need to click the plus button. This is key 6. We're going to call this jacket flaps left. Alright. Tab into edit mode, select the bottom of these jacket flaps here. Hit G to grab. It's going to move these to the left. And so if the wind is directly blowing, this way, then this part of the jacket will open up a little bit. So just select this part here, open it up. Like that. And then we can select this individually and move it out. So now, tab into object mode, we move the value up. You see that the jacket looks like it's like the wind is blowing. Alright. So now we're going to do the same thing we did with the collar. We're going to mirror this. So we're going to turn this up to 1. Make sure all these other ones are on 0 though. Turn this up to 1. We're going to click the black arrow and click new shape from mix. Then we are going to click the black arrow again on this. Make sure this is selected. Click the black arrow again. Click mirror shape key. You see we got it confirmed here, so this is good. And now we're going to hover our mouse over this word here. Hit Control C to copy that. Hover our mouse over key here. Control V, and then double click, and then we can rename this to right. So now, if we turn jacket flaps down, jacket flaps left down, we turn this one up. You'll see that we have the exact opposite effect. Now we have to have jacket flaps back. So just click the plus button, double click this, type jacket flaps back. So now just tab into edit mode with that selected. Select both the bottoms here. Just going to move this back. Again, we can move some of these inside vertices out. We can turn mirror for this on because I want it to happen on both sides. And we can move these out also just a little bit. And we can, there we go, move these vertices up so it looks like it's going out properly. There we go. So now we move the value up. You'll see that they move back. Now we can move these vertices in here out some. There we go. Okay, so now you see the jacket flaps flat back. So now we need one for the jacket flaps to flap forward. So click the plus button again, double click, type jacket flaps forward, and tab into edit mode with that selected. Be to grab, move them forward a little bit. Select these two here. Smooth this forward. Smooth this forward. Move this forward. And there we go. Now you see it peeks through the leg here a little bit. We can just move this back. And that'll fix that. Now, we have it so the jacket moves forward when the wind's blowing. Alrighty, and now we have to have one for the jacket flaps up, so that like if he's falling down, we can move these flaps up to make it look like he's actually falling. So let's add the plus button. Let's name this jacket flaps up. Now, tab into edit mode, select these. Again, we're going to hit G, except we're going to move them up this time. Now, don't worry if it intersects with the fingers, because I'm assuming when you animate it, his hands will be up too, like he's, actually falling. So it's going to move these up. R to rotate them a little bit, like so, and keep moving them up. R to rotate. Move them up. R to rotate, move them up. Alright? And then we can move them closer together. So now, you'll see if you want to make them fall, jacket flaps move up. Now, we may want to move those out a bit more because they look like they're like just shrinking up. So like this. So now they'll move more like that. There we go. Awesome. And so those are all the shape keys for the jacket. And we're going to control these shape keys with a driver. And I will show you how to make that driver in the next tutorial.